Okay. Elizabeth Howard, you're next.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, Supervisors, Madam Secretary, and Solicitor King, and everybody in the audience. I want to go on record about the closing of Rolling Road in Huntington Township on March 25th, 2023. Now, unfortunately, I ran for supervisor back in the 80s, and I memorized the second-class township code. And so I knew that there are definitions of responsibilities of supervisor, and one is the mission to secure the health and safety and welfare of the citizens. What is the definition of a public road? According to section 2307 of the second-class township code, certain roads declared public roads. Every road which has been used for public travel and maintained and kept in repair by the township for a period of at least 21 years is a public road, having a right-of-way of 33 feet, even though there is no public record of the laying out or dedication of the road. Therefore, Rolling Road is a public road. That's where I live. The second-class township code also, 2308, provides the opening and repairing and closing roads. Number B, the Board of Supervisors may temporarily close any township road when it determines that conditions have rendered that road unfit or unsafe for travel and immediate repair or maintenance because of the time of year or other conditions is impracticable. On the morning of March 25th, I received a phone call from our township supervisor, Mark Lear, alerting me to the fact that Rolling Road was closed. Since his property is also on Rolling Road, he apologized to me for not alerting me to the closure, and he shared with me he did not know anything about the road closure. Why was he not alerted to the closure? I then looked out my window and observed that there were numerous vehicles turning around in the entrance of my driveway, and I went out to the entrance and observed to the left of my driveway, in the middle of Rolling Road, a large barricade with a sign saying road closed. Then, this is what's most disturbing, I observed deep tire track ruts on either side of my entrance to my driveway. These tire ruts were obviously made by the numerous vehicles that have pulled in and backed out to turn around in my driveway because they couldn't go down the road, making a mess of my entrance with numerous ruts on either side of the driveway. While I was standing at the entrance of my driveway, along came a white truck looking for a way to get to an auction. While he was a very nice man from West Virginia, I did not allow him to turn around in my driveway. I was so irritated. After he left, I tried to put up a barrier in my entrance to the driveway, but the damage to the entrance of my property was already done. Then I had errands to run, and I drove out to the intersection of Cranberry and Rolling Road, and lo and behold, there's another barricade denying access to our road. The sign was large and said, road closed. This sign did allow people to drive around, and therefore they could get to my driveway and turn around and mess up my entrance. As I have shared with you, the second-class township code section says that road closure tours occur when the road is unfit or unsafe to travel. What issue, a safety issue, were you protecting us from? Who made the determination to close a public road for a function being held on private property? Obviously, it was not a unanimous decision by the township supervisors. You potentially endangered the lives of everybody on Rolling Road. What if someone had fallen off a ladder, or like me, have a heart attack? Emergency vehicles could not have been able to access homes on the road because of the road closure signs, therefore endangering our lives more than ever. Why weren't the residents who live on Rolling Road informed in advance of the road closure? Wouldn't that have been nice? Who gave you the power to close a public road for a function on a private property? And what right do you have us to deny us access to our property from a public road? I just can't go anymore. I just don't understand why this happened, why we weren't informed, why you felt you had to close the road, and my driveway's messed up. And I'm not a happy camper, and I want to go on record on that, okay? You don't have to answer the questions, I just want to go on the record.
I want the answers.
Well, I would
I
like
would like an
some
answer.
I'd like some answers, questions answered, because first off, I didn't know about it. Who made the decision? Did the board make the decision to close
Well,
the
there
road?
was-
I made the decision
I-
with contact with Mr. King and the road foreman who talked to the emergency management people and said the road could be closed at our discretion. The only thing that had to be done was notify the power companies and the,
EMS and state
EMS.
police were notified that the road was closed. From
We
the-
weren't,
Yeah, but
weren't.
residents weren't.
it's our
I
road.
wasn't. I mean, come on. So you approved that?
Was that a private
Yeah.
meeting?
Yeah,
It just said you contacted you, is that what you
I did not say that. I said Mr.
Oh, Mr.
King,
King.
Supervisor
I was gonna
King.
say. Okay, so you guys made the decision,
Yes.
and you didn't care about, what, notifying me, so whenever I had an issue at my place, I knew what was going on, I mean, come on.
Had we notified you, you would have said just exactly what you said now? No.
Uh,
So it
Excuse
was-
me,
It was not done.
So then,
Yeah.
I'm just nobody like usual?
No.
So you guys made the meeting, had a meeting in your barn and just did whatever you
What's the
wanted?
point? I mean,
Again,
Also, the Department of Agriculture.
I have a question.
agriculture.
I have a question.
Well, the Department of Agriculture is very, very adamant about keeping strangers away from poultry operations. And you can contact the Department of Agriculture.
No one was at the poultry
Already.
house. Nobody was at the poultry house. All you need to do is blockade the entrance to the poultry. There's already a sign there.
That's right.
And the
Did
people that were
anybody-
coming there would have been coming for the sale. It had nothing to do with anybody else on the road. That's what don't make no sense. I have never, ever seen a road closed at an auction. Who has a public auction and then closes the road to having a public auction? I mean, come on. That's a bad decision. And I didn't know about it, so here's what happened. I stood there and watched it, and you know why I notified her? Because it was creating a safety issue right at her house, and all the people that live right where we live. Because no one paid attention to your signs, and you're gonna find that out as you do this job, okay? I have stood right there, and had people drive right through it.
Right?
Right past me,
They did.
okay? They do
Mine
not
too.
respect that sign. So it created an unsafe condition, okay? Because I saw it with my own eyes. Everyone was taking a GPS and turning right in there, going out to her driveway, turn around, one car after another. And then they got to the end of the road, they didn't know which way to go. Because they came from who knows where to go to sale. That's what it did. And then, not only that, it wasn't closed at the proper place. You closed half the road, not the full road. It was not even set up right. The signs were not set up right. You can't put a sign on one end of the road and then put a sign at the chicken house and not give notification that the road's closed at the other end. So there was no sign at the other end of the road. So you only closed the section where everyone lives. So it created more of an unsafe condition than it did a safe condition. And I would have helped you with that had I been notified, like I should have been. But once again, you two made your decision whenever you felt like it. We could have sent letters to the people in the community,
Yes.
letting them know, we could discuss this if that's what you wanted to do, and we could have done it proper. But it wasn't done proper.
I have a couple of questions I'd like to put in the minutes. Cody Lear. The sale was on March 25th. Was for, they had the listings on who the sale was for. There was a Pennsylvania license number of some kind, and Buttonwood Farms. Mr. Geis, it's my understanding that you are either owner or have ownership in Buttonwood Farms, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, that's all.
Oh, my.
That is why I took the initiative to close the road for public safety and for biosecurity.
And did they get paid to do that, and did they get overtime?
Yes, I'm sure they did. Did you get paid for your work on Saturday?
Yeah.
And did they use township equipment?
Mhm.
That's all.
Something that I know some other people were accused of doing by certain people in this room, okay? But again, since it's agriculture
And
and certain
again,
people, it's
was that a
okay.
private meeting that you had?
We had no meeting.
It was just a phone
It's a
conversation.
private
That's
action.
that's a
Private
meeting.
property.
That's a supervisor's decision, that's supervisor's meeting.
There was a decision made by two supervisors excluding me once again. But yet, I'm always supposed to be held at a different standard, how I'm supposed to follow the policy, and how I'm supposed to do this and that. I've been through this for years. I've never once closed a road for an auction in this township in 16 years, never once. Betsy, you had an
I
auction
had
in your
an
house.
auction, we didn't
There was
close the
no
road.
road closure, okay?
You're
Now,
not
you
an
have
elected
a
official.
small farm, don't you? I
I'm
just don't see the, I don't see the,
I
I
just
don't
don't get it.
understand.
I just wanted it for the record.
Marie?
What concerns me is this is the second time that I know that there's a private meeting. We had a meeting March 9th of this board. Did you know at that time that you were having an auction on your property?
The sale was advertised for several weeks.
Yes.
Why wasn't that brought up at a public meeting? You two have meetings and you used your elected official and township employees for your private gain. That is disgusting.
It was not for my private gain. I gained nothing by closing the road other than the public safety and the biosecurity of
What
the.
were you?
Are you gonna reimburse her for the damage on her driveway? I'd be
Yes.
having you in court.
I would without doubt have her driveway fixed.
With
If-
what? Your own money?
With my own money, yes, I would do that.
Oh, no, I don't want to just,
Yes, I would do that.
it's too,
Well,
This,
that's a nice
these
offer.
things
it's a
being
very
done,
nice offer, but it's just too messed up.
That's past the point of the whole thing.
these private meetings have to stop, and there are legal, for the public, there is a way to complain to a DA about this.
There's a proper way to close the road, and that's my issue. It should have been discussed in the meeting. It should have been, the residents should have been notified if this is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So we didn't wake up, I woke up and watched a guy drive past my house 2 times. That's before I even seen the sign of it. I don't know why he did it. He drove down there, turned around, come back out, got down at the end of the driveway, didn't know where to go, turned around, went back there again. I stood there and watched the whole mess.
We
It
all would have
created,
been notified.
It created an unsafe condition.
Nobody has said a word about it.
Yes, uh-huh.
But when you go about
And
it the
there's
way you
children
did,
on that road.
that's what's pissing people
And I have
off.
training, which you need to get as well, when you close a road, there's proper ways to close it. There's right signage you have to use, and you have to be positioned at the right place. You can't, it was improperly signed, which created another unsafe condition. And I know it because I drove the whole way around and I checked the whole situation. So everyone was coming in one end of the road to where there was a barricade, there was no notification of the road being closed, so there was nothing stopping it on the other end. It was closed from the chicken house to our place, with no notification ahead of time. So why all that happened that way, it should never happen. It's not the proper way to be treating the people in our township, and, you know,
So
those
Mark,
decisions.
Mark, if that was the case, and you were watching all this, why didn't you call Chuck or Jeff?
I don't even have Chuck's number, and I called this man sitting right here, and I had my wife standing right beside me, and I made sure, and I told him that she is my witness to, I'm calling and you and notifying that this road should be opened immediately because it's creating a safe condition, unsafe condition, and right there he says, I did use that very thing.
He did.
And you know what? I got no phone call from no one. No respect as usual. Same way as the residents.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, moving on. Sounds good. Okay, I will make a motion, we go to executive
Wait,
session to
excuse me.
discuss litigation dockets.
I have a quick
Excuse me.
question on the executive session. I notice it just has docket numbers. Why is there no party names? So that we, the public, know what it... I mean, docket numbers, I could go to the courthouse, and look this up, but why isn't that being provided to the public?
It's right here if you want me to tell you.
Yeah.
Technically, the appeals are with Christopher M. Miller, Heather M. Miller, and Samuel Akers. And one is involving the Adams County Uniform Construction Code Board of Appeals. And then it's the same appellant versus the Huntington Township Zoning Hearing Board. And these,
I'm sorry, what was the last thing?
Huntington Township Zoning Hearing Board.
Okay, but the name before that, I'm sorry.
The same.
And
The
these
same,
were the
the
same.
same one, okay.
Yeah, the same appellant. These are appeals from
Right,
a zoning
I'm
decision.
familiar with it,
and
yeah.
Zoning code.
but
decision.
why wasn't it shown on, is there a reason why it's not shown so that the public knows who's appealing, et cetera?
Just efficiency.
It's what?
Efficiency? I don't know.
Oh.
I gave them to Pat and she listed.
Yeah,
them all.
because there is something under the Sunshine Act that they used to be so vague, and now they wanted the public to be able to know not what's discussed, et cetera, but the fact of the party suing the township or vice versa, or appeals and that. So would you kind of advise them that the next time we have something like an executive session to put in?
Well, I mean, the case caption, like you said, it's public information who the parties are. I mean.
Yeah, but why does the public have to go to the courthouse when we're sitting here and you're giving us docket numbers?
It's just
Okay. that's
shorter
fine.
than writing out 2 sentences with all of the parties.
Well, we have all this, you know what I mean? We have all this information, and
I have a quick question. Scott Bitzer from the Gettysburg Times. Will you be rendering a decision when you come back from your executive session?
There won't be any decisions.
We've been having a vote.
No, there won't be. It's just to basically discuss the legal strategy involved in the cases.
Understood. Thank you for the explanation. And are you going into a separate room, or do we have to leave?
Yes, we are running
they
separate.
go to the separate room.
So I can sit up here and then prepare my questions for you when you get back. And tell my wife you can feed the baby.
Okay, well, we need a motion and a second.
Yeah, I made the motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Been moved and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Tell them.
That's office or Gus's office.